What's happening, YouTube? It's Simon466cards, and today we're going to talk about something that flew under the radar yesterday. And that's that Fanatics is essentially going to be opening up LCSs in the US. Now, you're probably thinking, Simon, there was no announcement about that. That's not happening. The only thing that happened yesterday was CardsHQ opening new stores and expanding their footprint. And sure, that's true, but there's more to it than that. And so let me explain and we'll get into the details. So yeah, you probably saw that Jeff Wilson's two businesses, Sports Card Investor and CardsHQ, they're expanding and they got some investment. And so let's look at the press release of what exactly is happening. Here's the press release. You can see the highlighted text. The investment will accelerate CardsHQ national retail expansion strategy. Growth initiatives include opening additional retail locations. So they're opening more stores, more CardsHQ stores. Cool. Now, who are they partnering with? Well, if we scroll down here, you can see a company called Shamrock Capital and a company called N1 Ventures, On1 Ventures, however you pronounce that. And that is a new early to growth stage investment platform co-founded by OneTeam partners and Entrust Global, however you say these things. Why do they need to be so hard to figure out how to pronounce? Why can't we use somewhat regular English words? Anyways, let's look into what OneTeam Partners is. Here is the OneTeam Partners website. You can see here, welcome to the athlete era. And essentially, this is a company that was created on the backs of a bunch of players associations. So a bunch of players associations got together and created this company. If you scroll down here, you can see there is the MLB Players Association. There's the NFLPA here. We'll get to this in a minute. That's just fun stuff that I'm going to mention at the end. What else is in here? There's MLS. There's the WNBA. You get the idea. But yeah, the big ones are obviously the NFLPA and the MLBPA. Now let's take a step back to when Fanatics first got the licenses to the MLB and the NFL. Let's go back 5 years to 2021. Here we are, August of 2021. Fanatics strikes deal to become exclusive licensee for MLB cards. And so let's read through this sentence. A Fanatics founded company that has yet to be named will be the exclusive licensee in the baseball card category after Panini and Topps licenses with the MLBPA expire at the end of 2022. The deal also includes the NBA Players Association and the NFLPA, who along with the MLBPA will have equity in this new venture. Spoiler alert, this new venture is Fanatics Collectibles. And MLB and NBA will also have equity in this thing. Okay? So OneTeam has the, NFLPA and MLB Players Association, and Fanatics Collectibles has the MLBPA and the NFL Players Association. Does that seem like something? Well, let's go further in on the OneTeam website. There is a thing called timeline. If you go down to the timeline, you will see OneTeam was launched in late 2019 as a joint venture between the NFLPA and the MLBPA. Since then, OneTeam has added 6 additional PA partners and thousands of college athletes. Cool. Here you can see in 2019 on the left here, OneTeam founded by NFLPA, MLBPA, and Redbird Capital. And oh, look at that, Topps license here. OneTeam negotiates multi-year renewal between MLSPA and Topps. Cool, cool, cool. What else do we got here that looks familiar? Oh, what is this? Fanatics Collectibles. OneTeam launches Fanatic Collectibles with Michael Rubin. So OneTeam is a part owner of Fanatics Collectibles. OneTeam is now also part of CardsHQ. So OneTeam owns part of Fanatics Collectibles, and OneTeam owns part of CardsHQ. I said it a second time just to reinforce the fact that the same company has ownership stakes in the Fanatics Collectibles and CardsHQ, and I don't think that's a coincidence. So essentially, Fanatics Collectibles and CardsHQ are partners because they're owned by the same, or they're partly owned by the same parent company. And so this spells bad news for your actual LCS, not the big guys like a Burbank Sports Cards or the Card Vault by Tom Brady, because guess who's gonna get product from Fanatics? Do you think it might be CardsHQ? Because I have a hunch that it will be. And if given the choice between, let's say they open a shop in, I don't know, Houston, Minnesota, Minneapolis, whatever, I have a feeling that Fanatics will be giving all the good products and wax to the CardsHQ in that city over the mom and pop LCS that exists in the city. Based off of this, I mean, it's pretty obvious. I don't think I need to explain that any further. And so essentially, Fanatics Collectibles and Fanatics has a sister company that is an LCS, and that's CardsHQ. And so this is kind of their way to get into the LCS market, into the LCS game, to be part of that side of distribution. It's pretty clear. It literally says Fanatics Collectibles. OneTeam launches Fanatics Collectibles with Michael Rubin. Couldn't be more clear on this. And I'll be honest, when this was announced, I was like, someone's gonna figure this out, right? And over the course of a day, nobody figured it out. So I'm like, I guess I'm not making a video on Wednesday like I normally do. I guess I have to record this video today so I can load it on Tuesday, because nobody else seems to be putting the pieces together. Fanatics is now in the LCS game, essentially. And so that is probably news to a lot of people, but it's right there on the page. Fanatics Collectibles. OneTeam launches Fanatics Collectibles with Michael Rubin, and this says CardsHQ and Sports Card Investor are getting investment from OneTeam partners. That is pretty straightforward to me. So that's it. That's the main crux of the video, is that Fanatics is getting into the LCS game. I do have a couple of additional notes and thoughts here. Just random thoughts related to this. First off, I know Jeff Wilson gets a lot of flack and a lot of criticism, and honestly, sometimes rightfully so. He says things often that I don't agree with. In fact, I made a video, how long was this? Was 12 days ago, saying this. He's just saying stuff that's not true, that he's contradicting himself. He says a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. He says a lot of stuff that I don't agree with. And a lot of people get stuck on that stuff, what he says, and his, I remember, obviously a lot of criticism over his card predictions and card purchases. But I think we in the hobby, we get stuck in the weeds of things, because in the micro, sure, Jeff does a lot of stuff that is kind of silly. You might even say dumb. Controversial. I would agree with a lot of those things. A lot of those, like that sentiment. He says some good stuff, he says some bad stuff. But if we take a step back and look at the macro picture, dude created SCI, dude created CardsHQ, dude created Market Movers. Like, I know obviously he had help, Teapot and all those kind of folks, right? But he basically created all of those things from scratch. And they're all successful, and they're going to be way more valuable than any card he will be purchasing. And I remember when he first launched CardsHQ, I heard many a pundit saying this thing is going to fail. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. It'll be lucky to last 6 months, maybe to last 2 years. And here he is, partnering with essentially Fanatics to expand to multiple stores within a couple of years of the store launching. Again, he says stuff that is worthy of criticism, but we're so stuck in the day-to-day stuff that he does that we're not looking at the bigger picture. This guy is a very successful businessman, and I'm pretty sure that the persona you see in his videos is just that. It's a persona. It's not actually who he is. He kind of plays the fool and plays the controversial figure to get more attention, to then get more eyeballs on his channel, to grow his brand, That's just what he does. I feel like the Jeff Wilson who is partnering with Michael Rubin and creating this new venture is not the person saying the somewhat silly and controversial things on his channel. I think there's 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 different versions of him. So that's just my thoughts on Jeff Wilson. Again, I'm not saying everything he says is the smartest thing in the world, but like, take a step back and take a look at the bigger picture. Dude's successful at business. I know I'm gonna get flamed in the comments for that, but like, let's keep going. Second thing, fun thing about OneTeam, they have been the subject of multiple videos of the famous Pablo Torre, he of the LA Clippers scandal. And yeah, you can see here, along with the NFLPA and the MLBPA, they've been under a federal investigation because of alleged self-enrichment by union executives as part of the OneTeam partner scandal. And yeah, there's a full YouTube video about the OneTeam partner scandal. So just throw that in the mix as to the company that's helping fund the growth of CardsHQ and SCI. So that's a fun little tidbit. Other fun little tidbits that I thought. First, I thought it was notable that it mentioned that, founded by entrepreneur and lifelong collector Jeff Wilson and co-founded with Carter. We know that originally there was a third guy. His name was Ryan, and he left a few months back. I do wonder if Jeff was saying, this is the direction I'm taking this company, and Carter's like, I'm in, and Ryan's like, I'm not, I'm out, peace. And that's what happened. I know nothing, but you can't help but think that, seeing that they're doing this massive expansion, and Ryan was someone who seemed very integral to the operations and said, I don't want any part of this anymore. I'm done. So I have to think that this expansion strategy had to be part of that, and that he didn't want to do it for whatever reason. So thoughts there. The other thing that I think is really interesting is that the company plans to further enhance the Market Movers data platform, which hobbyists use to research value and track their card collections. And I just find this fascinating for the idea that Fanatics, again, through OneTeam partners and all this kind of stuff, they are essentially choosing market movers. And PSA and Collectors owns Card Ladder. And it's like this, almost like this proxy war of card data platforms where on the one hand you have Fanatics choosing market movers, and on the other hand you have the other behemoth in Collectors universe and PSA choose having Card Ladder, and like they're battling it out through these two tiny little companies, these very niche companies. I just think that's kind of interesting that, they've decided to throw their weight behind market movers, even though I don't think it'll move the needle for Fanatics. It's interesting. I don't know. You guys tell me if you find this interesting, or I'm just too I don't know, just find this interesting. I don't know how else to describe it. And then lastly, going back to this OneTeam. So if we go to LCSPA, did you know there's a Players Association for, you guessed it, League of Legends? That's right. This is a video game Players Association, or a gamer Players Association. You can see here, they're talking about like a possible strike, a walkout. It's just interesting that you don't think about gamers having a Players Association, but that exists. So that's something that I discovered. Also, 2-year probation for, like, there's all sorts of wackiness happening in the gaming world. Anyways, that's it. Those are all the fun little tidbits that I found and are thinking as I dug through this story. But yeah, would love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. What do you think about Fanatics discreetly entering the LCS game, the LCS market, by having their parent company or one of their investors now investing in CardsHQ and the expansion strategy of CardsHQ opening new LCSs across the United States? Would love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. Thank you as always for listening and watching. I'll talk to you all soon. Cheers.